Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, Rndr community, I haven't made a video on Rndr in God knows how long. I mean, we can literally check right now, but I believe it's probably been 8 months. 8 months since I mentioned Rndr or anything to do with Rndr. We can really literally search it up right here, Rndr, and yeah, 3 months ago. I don't even remember this video. I do not remember this video at all. But other than that, I mean, it's been a very, very long time. Personally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still optimistic about Rndr. Has Rndr lost some of its ranking for me and its strength over the last year or so? Yes, I do think, there are some new exciting cryptos and, technologies and such that could take over. Now, for me, what is above Rndr? I still value Rndr very, very highly, like extremely highly. But I think, something like Caspa probably has more upside. Probably something like Zbeck Network, and that's just to name two, right? But I overall think Rndr at the bare minimum is like an A plus coin, A coin. It's a 9 out of 10 type of coin. Now, I still super, super value it. I just haven't decided to make a video on it in some time. And yeah, today we are back. And if there's going to be a lot of love and support on this, then we can continue to bring Rndr videos back. Because of course, ladies and gentlemen, what makes the most sense for me is to see, which communities are the most active and to cover cryptos on them. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are kind of in this trend line, right? We are kind of in this trend where price action is failing to go higher and higher each time. In the most recent weeks, we can see even though we had some decent price action, we had this high, which is lower than this high. This high is lower than this high. This high is lower than this high, and this high is lower than this high. So we can see, right, that price has been continuously failing to go up higher and higher and close higher, which is not good. Which ultimately means, ladies and gentlemen, we should most likely be looking to retest and contest these bottoms down here of 275, even where we were at back in June, back in April. So it's not looking good, right? The price action is looking very, very dead. It's looking very, very scary. And this is not a Rndr issue. This is not a Rndr issue. We can literally go, it's something like Caspa has the almost exact same type of price action, right? Boom. Jasmy has almost the same type of price action, right? Very, very similar. It's in this type of triangle. It's coming back to the June lows, the April lows. And we can see these markets are just overall getting wrecked. Bitcoin is going down. It is melting away. We can see Bitcoin dominance is shooting up. So what does that mean? Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay. We're going to have crypto exploding. And this is the time to get a portfolio review, right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. Why is that bad? Well, when Bitcoin is going down, usually the markets go down. Okay. Everything else kind of follows. But when Bitcoin dominance goes up and Bitcoin dominance goes, sorry, when Bitcoin dominance goes up and Bitcoin itself goes down, it's a double negative for altcoins. It's like a huge punch in the gut, like really, really huge. So, yeah, it is not the most ideal. It is not the most ideal. So that's why we're seeing huge, huge bleeding. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, some of us want altcoin season to happen. Some of us think altcoin season will never happen, right? Some people believe that altcoin season actually peaked back in March or maybe December times. So yeah, we are in a very, very interesting position. We are in a very, very interesting position. Obviously, I do believe, overall now and just the next little couple of days, I do believe this is most likely going to be the bottoms. Obviously, there's no confirmation yet in terms of technical analysis, but in terms of just prediction, I do believe these are going to be the bottoms. And, for us to get some type of confirmation, right, we probably have to retest these bottoms over here. And we really need to break out of this trend line, but not only break out of this trend line, people, but we really need weekly candle closes above some of these highs that we already have. Because even though, the picture might look good because price is going up and down, what the price action is saying is that we are going to be going lower and lower. Okay, until we start closing above this high and this high and even this high, there's going to be zero signs of reversals. And that's just the truth, right? We just, after we go down, we need to start going sideways a little bit, and then we need to start breaking up. We need to start destroying this high, this high, this high, and continuing to destroy each high, right? Continuing to destroy each high, kind of like the way, we did over here, right? Imagine going sideways, and then we have a new high. This is much higher than this high. This high over here is much higher than this high. This high here is much higher than this high. And then, yeah, of course, there was some manipulation. Sure, but at the end of the day, we had a low, we had a higher low, and then we just continued to go up and up and up and up. So we need to see something very, very similar. Something very, very similar where we do, ladies and gentlemen, start to take out some of these highs and we start creating higher lows. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the market structure is very, very simple, right? You need it to be a staircase towards the upside where you have a high, you have a higher high, you have a low, and you have a higher low. Simple staircase to the upside. Okay, and as right now, we don't really have that. What we do have, ladies and gentlemen, is this triangle, right? Like I said, we do have this triangle. So this is really our last hope to see if we are going to hold and try to break out. Because if we don't, right, if we do somehow break below and it's not a fake out and we, confirm and, pretty much respect these bottoms, we will continue to go lower and lower and lower. And yeah, this cycle is very, very dreadful in many ways. This cycle is very, very annoying in many, many ways. I know people are kind of tired. I know people are kind of over it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? This is just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, I'm super, super high on Rndr. I still believe Rndr is going to do very, very well. If we go and look at Rndr, right? Go look at Rndr, we can see it's ranked 59 out of 9,505 active cryptos, 1.73 billion market cap. So where do I think Rndr can go? I think 20x. I think on the lower end 20x. Why? Because 20x would put it roughly around the 35 billion market cap zone. And I do believe Rndr is a 35 to 45 billion market cap coin when the time comes, right? When the time comes. Remember, this is talking about its peaks. I do believe Rndr will be around that 35 to 45 billion market cap zone. And that would put it roughly at $66. So yeah, even if you bought at the highs, right? Even if you bought at the highs and you went all the way to something like $66, right? Boom, it would be roughly, 5x roughly, right? And that's from the highs. If you did it from, somewhere, some of these lows down here, right? If we take the price range, let's say you bought literally right now, for example, and we take it to $66, boom, 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 boom. Let's say something like this. Okay. That would be roughly a 20x. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, right? I know things don't look the best, but I'm still optimistic about Rndr. I'm still optimistic about overall crypto's future. We can see we're at almost 110,000 holders. Now we have gone down a little bit over the last day or two, but nothing crazy, right? Just a couple of people, which at the end of the day doesn't really matter. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.